another wasted, mismanaged afternoon in Martiniburg for the Crown Liquor Slave that provides not only the free hoochies, I pay for the hangover. Woo! Deal of the century, and my brain is damaged. That's the weapon that they get. The party weapon, the party animal weapon, is the tank. Party animal weapon. The more they drink and party, the more damage I get. For a deal of the century, Chevy chasing life. So, today I am going to discuss. Well, first of all, we understand the majority of this is dealing with sacred individuality. And then the problem is they do not earn their value. They just once they're worth so much, they just sit back and say, I'm too valuable to myself to try and it's that sort of don't hate the game, hate the player. Now they don't want you to hate the player. They want to keep the game going. It's just bizarre. But I seem to pay for the games, and I don't necessarily. It's a terrible, terrible return on investment. So I am trying to, for the store, to save my credibility as an economist, I am trying to point out the facts of what I see from various perspectives, as I've made so utterly clear. The parish versus county. There are many interpretations of this. Louisiana Napoleonic parishes ties into the parishes of the global church. It's not, and the problem is there's exploitation of the daughter. That is obviously when I was supposed to be elevated into, but I paid mightily for my wily rebel ways, as you would, because I like to go out and play and things like that. And then I was horrifically mismanaged, blind, as you would, just basically blind, and it was this whole dungeon maze mentality. Rather than correcting the problems, they allowed me to go deeper and deeper by playing the card. Play it as it lies, that golf mentality, where I was I was going away from the hole, and they never corrected me because I was having to play blind, like that sort of Chevy Chase. Be the ball, BTB. It was while it was fueling the anarchy revolution. The problem is they let it go way too far. If they would have cut this off, actually it should have never happened. But I mean, yeah, it was terribly, terribly. So Louisiana, and you can blame it on any number of factors. I blamed it on the amplification values of the petroleum industry. They weren't just happy with a barrel of oil because they knew they were getting screwed by the oil companies. I think so. They had to use the amplifications, which I provide, which is creating an anarchy revolution, in order to expand and mutate logic of the system towards this revolutionary symbol. Problem is, you got these sacred individual wealthy that are so valuable because the system created them and they refuse to do anything and earn their value. That's why there's no hierarchy or aristocracy sort of structure in place. It's just open city, free for all, gangbang orgy. Can you speak that sort of language? So the Louisiana parishes are under attack because anything that's different is always under attack. And they decided to sell me out, and rather than fix the problem or grow up properly. If they would have grown up properly, they would have had a lot stronger position. Now they're waking up to the fact that they didn't really grow up, and they played towards the system, yet they lost a lot of leverage, and so now they're stuck. Kind of like me, with no real options. But I have options. I'm not allowed to play them because I have to be representative to those that screwed me. Through permanent march tracks. what should have happened is, and what I could have accomplished was sectioned out the part of Louisiana into a principality, like I called for on many occasions, in order to balance control assets. It's like a network grid. The state is too big to try to manage. See, that's where all these worthless poser brothers and sisters are trying to do the same sort of thing, but they refuse to let me be a part of it and I'm the one with the global connections and the global viability, because they want to prove the power of their blood brother race, even though the accounting in it is really flawed and there's no possible way. And so it's just a token effort, like the St. George annexation of Baton Rouge is a token effort. That's playing both sides. It's actually kind of clever. For history, it says, hey, look, we made an effort, not a very good one, because they realized, but in actuality, and it's the same sort of effort I should have made. If I could annex an island within Louisiana, but I want to completely annex it into a principality, sort of like Monte Carlo, in order to set up a banking system as a balance. There are many, many people that are opposed to that. Most notably, the Anarchy Revolution, which is the Anarchy Revolution, Rise of the Terminator Machines, is really benefiting the political system right now. So right now, they want all the power they can get. They will kill anything. So that's one of the reasons that the wealthy have screwed up so bad, and they can't even fathom how bad yet. But they are trapped now. And so it goes back to the crazy blood open pride. It's like a lesson, LSU, Southern University Jaguars. You chop off the L, you get the Southern University Jaguars, which is really coming to fruition. Then you've got then they created the Jacksonville Jaguars, and so the New Orleans Ruth Chris sold out to Jacksonville Company. So what they have to do is they have to eat Europe, literally. So Europe is now the Ruth Chris state because of the sacred, independent USA, because they were created by me. So it makes them more valuable in this grand scheme of things. And then you factor in the Transformers power and this rank game they're playing, and so it's just bad logic. So Louisiana will end up being the runs of the SEC. There's no doubt about it. But they refuse to correct anything. They won't let me get anything done. And then they play this Don King only in America, which was supposed to be a warning. The American system is different than the rest of the world. But instead, they're trying to make the American system the standard for the world, which is spreading this anarchy revolutionary disease globally. And they will not let me, and by me going outside of the United States to manage the estate, which is what it's like the Men in Black. Keep them on this planet, but it's a total reversal of fortune because of these fraud identity theft body snatchers who are desperate to keep their dope fix supply pumping, which I supply, and they don't pay a cent for their dope. They pay off a bunch of poser pimps to go ahead and keep the bodies buried, and the supply is it's like the golden goose sort of mentality. But they're paying, and I am not able to manage the estate. So my estate, which is worth billions or trillions of dollars globally, is supplying power and getting no money from it at all. We're getting paid zero. The anarchy revolutionary individual wealthy are making money off this, but they are not allowed, and there's value derived and it's transferring value. So the only way to compensate is attack of the transformers. So forming a Louisiana principality in order to as a balance, manage the estate, a bank vault, as you would, rather than this free reign like a castle, like I was talking about. And it could be as small as Monaco, or it could be as big as a couple of parishes. Regardless, there's room for negotiation, because obviously The system has failed. But there are certain factions that will fight to the death because they're winning. They've got a winning hand, even though it will kill them in the end. And most notably, they're trying to maintain control of the global. It's all a fight over controlling global assets. And like I said, New York refuses to budge an inch. They they they're a lit. They've got such brain damage from their controlled substance habit that they're illiterate. They can't count. They're preaching capitalism when they don't really believe in capitalism. They're an anarchist faction, like a boiler. So rather than playing the sides and allowing Louisiana to develop and partner in controlling global assets or managing global estate assets, they want to be the only player. They do not want to share. Greed is killing. Greed is one of the biggest factors in this. So by sabotaging Louisiana growing up, so New York is basically selling their soul to the anarchy revolutionary machine because New York controls the transformers. And they're selling their soul to the Terminators, the rise of the machine. And they're going to kill the A&M because it's this whole mentality of their pride over being fed, which they forced me into on several occasions. They're addicted to me being fed like a Formula One baby because they're brain damaged crazy. And they've got it, and whatever they are, it's like, I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? They do to me. And it's the crazy, stupid mentality that is really running the world economy into the ground, literally destroying the future in order to maintain control. So Louisiana annexes a principality, or go to the Caribbean, or go to South America and let me operate from there as a banking. And we're not talking about hiding money. I'm talking about trade. I'm talking about brokering trade deals. Like I said, I'm not looking to become Cayman Islands and hiding money from the wealthy. What I'm looking to do is broker trade deals between Louisiana, Latin America, and Europe to increase the volume. So rather than having the anarchy, terminator, transformer American way, right now wants Europe to expand. They just want to fat. They want fat. Hamburger planet fat. They want more. That's their volume. Rather than maintaining competent sizes, and my plan is the cities do not have to expand. It's more about controlling the assets. They don't want to control. They want a wild-ass rate, a disease gangbang orgy of assets. Just, who cares? Just, disease gangbang hedonist orgy of assets. That's their type of banking. Just grow, grow, grow. Chaos sprawl, LSD fractal tangent subdivision off into suburgatory. That's that's their banking model, because they refuse to lift a fat finger because they're so sacred special. So the wealthy do not earn their value by controlling their assets. The way they control their assets is Mardi Gras bribery, and I pay for the Mardi Gras, whereas the balance would control the system. So now the big winners are the anarchy, terminator, rise of the machines that are desperate to validate. They realize that they have a flaw in their logic. The flaw is a huge, huge issue. So they have to take over the world because of the flaw in their logic. Risk management dictates, healthcare dictates, and not to mention you've got a massive fraud at your pinnacle of your peak existence. Most notably my kidnappers with guns to my head because they use the law as the weapon. That's why they worship the Terminator machine. So this dictates global anarchy revolution and transformers taking over the world. They do not want individuality. Like I said, I should be, okay, Neiman Marcus was an example. Like the Jules Verne in the Eiffel Tower is an example. If you want to grow into a certain type, but they do not want. They want hedonist, sprawl, orgy, chaos, disease, crazy anarchy. That's the American way. Hamburger plan. Just chew it up and spit it out, trash the planet sort of mentality. And since they are infallible because of their blood doping, and since they do not like competition, that they only like competition that they can control, deem themselves the house always wins the casino. But they do not like competition. That's why Louisiana was sabotaged. Because Louisiana was, it's not even competition, it's called math. They don't like math. They like cracking open an ATM machine or hijacking a U.S. Mint and producing as much cash as you can for your communal brother hedonists. So, they will not allow the balanced math to handle it. It's just sprawl, sprawl, sprawl. Sprawl is eventually got to end. I mean, they're going to put some pressure on Europe, obviously. I mean, on Asia, which is going to have to go outwards and attack. See, what I think, by putting pressure on Asia, it's going to force Asia to attack or to invest heavily in African and Latin American and European assets. So then it justifies, well, we're saving ourselves from the Asian invasion by attacking also. So rather than fixing the root of the problem, addressing Asia is driven by the United States, is greed. Asia has got to react, and their only react is to maintain. It's because of the Sigma Delta Chi quills. I guarantee that is the root cause of all the problems in the world. It's Sigma Delta Chi quills, Staples Center, Oceans 11, 12, and 13, Symphony of Destruction scams that are going on. I guarantee that's fueling the sugar bowl revolution. That's part of the sugar revolution, killing all making all the gummy bears. It's flooding the world. It's this mutated exponential valuation that doesn't make any sense. It's fueling the anarchy revolution, but nobody will listen. They do not want to correct the problem. It's like when you had the 2007 economic recession, the Great Recession. They tried to fix the problem, but it's the same sort of thing. They will not allow me to manage the estate, which would change the rules of the game. If I actually build walls, and any nobody can walk in and pluck my ripe assets and call on theirs because of the cowboy rebranding, it changes the rules of the game. That is not freedom. That is not free enterprise. That is anarchy looting. And I am the victim, paying for the Mardi Gras perpetuality and their stuff. By allowing to change the rules of the game, jazz hands, as you would, which has got to happen eventually. They just want to get as much control as they can before they do it. And they've got enough control, in my estimation. I mean, they could chop off a quarter of the world. Great. Just do not ruin. I mean, the problem is, if you go too far, you're going to lose Europe and you're going to lose Latin America, which they are on the verge of losing Europe. And then what's left? Canada and Alaska is the great white north. That's it, for the most part. And that's literally the mentality of what's going on. That's what they're banking on. But they're bourbon swilling, dope fiend, gambler, whoremongers who do not pay their fucking bills. They do not care. They're brain-damaged, delusional nobodies who have these fat, stolen, mass-manufactured. They're not counterfeit because they got a magic slave in the Keebler elf that's branded them HRH. So by allowing me to fix the problem, it's going to mutate the logic and create a correction, which they fear the correction, because the correction is going to mutate the logic. So, sacred products, yeah, the slaughterhouse perishables are used as sacred products. That's their counterfeiting loophole. It's because they use the perishables to validate because of the St. Louis King of France rank, which was a lesson saying there has got to be a aristocracy hierarchy. So they took the lesson and turned it into public school lunches for the sacred almighty gamblers, the Game Boy sacred almighty gamblers. So yeah, they took the parish St. Louis King of France was a lesson. You've got to build Louisiana into an aristocracy hierarchy. Instead, they made it school lunches from the Dairy Queen, sacred, bunny hop. So, the problem is, so then what they did was they turned it into a sweatshop. So that now what they do is they validate, that's where you get into your Louis Vuitton, luxury, free luxury goods. So rather than me, okay, take me as the alpha who has been kidnapped and hacked down to Omega. But me is my real self, my body as you see me. I think, well, I know everything's got to prove. That's why another reason they've got to prove the validity of screwing me. They got to make their mark on screwing me, deliverance stuff. So the yeah, watch me squeal like a guinea pig at that in their sacred hamster wheel electric free energy. Miracle to be saying. So they've got, so let's take me being programming, let's just use the state of Louisiana and me being Louis. The Anarchy Revolution wants to kill Louis. These people hate Louisiana, really. They're anarchists. They love I and anarchy. They hate, they're anarchists. They want the A and an M, turn it M and A. They're even so greedy, they flip the M into a W and a V. Juan V. That's what they've got. They've turned A and M into Juan V. That's the logic used. So, Neiman Marcus, another blaring sign in the sky, like the burning bush, as you would, sign. So if I wear designer luxury goods, let's say, in pret-a-porter, there's a reason. Most of these nobody sacred wealthy of the USA do not, they have a neighborhood, they do not have, the USA does not have the town and country networks. So you've got a bunch of McMansions, basically, sacred nobody cows that have a lot of cash. And they think that's what, it's just brand warfare. Magic, that's all it is. That's your Juan Day. It's not A&M, it's Juan V. Excuse me. Juan Louis Vuitton. They're a bunch of nobodies with a bunch of cash because of the free-for-all anarchy system lets them go grab as much cash as they can win at the casino. So, rather than like me being an important, I program millions of lives, even though I'm used as a bioterrorist weapon to poison them. So, instead, I'm wearing a on-sale t-shirt, Missoni, which is an Italian brand from Target. It was on sale. I got it. I think it was $5. I can't afford to clothe myself. I'm not allowed to feed myself. That's called Anarchy Revolution bioterrorism. That's why I am kidnapped. So rather than, and it's the Neiman Marcus joke for the reverend, for praise Jesus, all these wacko, psychotic David Koresh wackos that are really just organized crime, really. They make me pay. That's the whole skewed logic. I have a purpose. I am like a mainframe computer. You do not teach lessons on a mainframe. You teach it on a PC. So when you teach lessons, it actually poisons the entire mainframe network to the lessons. And what they've done is they've learned how to use it to their advantage and swoop in and steal all the assets. So they've got me, rather than me wearing designer or luxury clothes. Every day I should be wearing different. I should never have to wash any clothes. I should wear different ones every day. It's the reason Neiman Marcus is there. That programs Louisiana to a aristocracy strong. That is a strong hierarchy system. Instead, because I'm wearing on sale Target knockoffs, it's programming Louisiana to a slim, shady, everybody in white t-shirt. There's no individualism, it's sacred, almighty, aluminum, can gods of the world, every sacred penny. They're trying to think, and that shows why greed is not good. That is the Gordon Gekko, greed is good lesson. Greed is good in some cases. Greed is good for me. But the terrorist, anarchy, revolutionary kidnappers who are trying to murder and loot and pillage my estate because they can hold a gun to my head and they're smart dungeon master kidnappers. Greed is not good for sacred nobody wealthy. Greed is not good for sacred nobody posers. Even if you have wealthy, that every sacred Louis Vuitton wallet out there matters more than me, even though I am poisoning millions and millions of lives. They wouldn't risk. They wouldn't sacrifice. That's what even the kidnapper game is these days. Is they intercept with a sacrifice. They've got me surrounded. They're the So if anybody tries to help me escape, the anarchy terrorist revolutionaries go in and snatch them and then sell them off as pimps to be used as magic, and they were transformed for an anarchy revolutionary terrorist weapon to use against them. Not that anybody tries to. The wealthy are crazy, insane, stupid. So their only recourse is attack the world, which is bad, stupid gamble logic. I'm here trying to warn them as their banker, as their financial analyst, advisor, but they do not care. All they care about is greed is good for a bunch of nobody boiler room posers. So, let's see, where else do I have? Yeah, Target or Walmart. Yeah. So that's why society is being programmed to these transformers. They're taking over. There is no individual wealth left in society. The town and countries are being strip mined because I'm forced to wear knockoff Target goods rather than me wearing ready to wear. I should literally have my wardrobe is a joke. And that's the joke. That's why Savannah's aristocracy is a joke. That is why they will be a historical joke. And that's why they are now anarchy revolutionaries. It's crazy. But yeah, so that's what they did in Aspen. The wealthy are so individual proud. Cash is king. Cash money, brothers. I even paid for the warning signs. They did Lil Wayne Mountain Dew commercials after I was held as a prisoner or kidnapped there for years, wasting prime growing season while the anarchy revolution was thriving and flourishing. So yeah, the Lil Wayne was from the Cash Money Brothers. Very reputable siren there. Say, hey, something's going on. Deals with all those poser brothers and worthless posers in Louisiana who don't really matter except in their neighborhoods, but they do not have any power as far as to brainwash network poison. So yeah, so they had to even make me pay for the fact by worshiping cash. Rather than fixing the problem, they're going to teach me lessons in the value of cash by destroying, even making them. They are never wrong. That is infallible, psychotic, brain damage, blood from blood doping. Years and years of these Cash Money Brothers are really blood doping. That's all they're doing. They sell shares of my body. It's like magic cards. And they do not have the capacity. The problem is, they could exist. That would be just like an aristocracy, except it's an inverted pyramid. They do not have, because there is they're greedy, basically. And the anarchy revolution is thriving. And so they're trying to play it. but they are not going to be able to play it. They're selling their soul. They're selling their kids' futures just to be master, king of the hill for a day. They're literally selling their soul and selling their kids' futures. And they're not making any amends for any. They're not trying to fix the problems. They're not making amends. They're not doing anything. They're just partying on Wayne's World Garden. I mean, it's crazy stupid. Anything else left for today? Or am I going to go try to get my thing? I've got to go try. Once again, technology proving the almighty jazz hands, Cassius, King God is God. They refuse to evolve. So the thing is, you've got a bunch of these winners who have made a lot of cash from the system. They refuse to take the necessary steps forward at key times that there is need for. And the thing is, Armageddon has been hijacked to be used by the mob as a weapon. So they're not correcting the mistakes. They're not accountable for anything. They refuse to pay their bills. They make me pay for them, which the problem comes from me paying for them. The reason there are such problems is I pay for so many deadbeat bums, and they do not pay. It's not an investment. It's just a volunteer. They get nothing back. They're just individual pride. They do nothing. It's just giving money away like Mardi Gras, and then I pay for it in the end. It's terrible, terrible logic. So yeah, these county public pooled slaughterhouse bribes to. The problem is they're losing control of the system. They think that this luxury good free-for-all can go on forever. The problem is there's an underlying, you've got to correct the problem eventually. These wildcatter looters, these sacred wildcatter looters, the James Dean lesson from Giant, which was ignored, of course, Blondie, so yeah, they refuse to allow me to fix the problem. While there's evidence everywhere. They're denying all of this just because they want to keep on. They're addicts. They're a bunch of brain damage addicts. When you blood dope for so long, it mutates your logic. You're guilty. It's like when you are guilty of something, that is brain damage. So then your mind, since you are then super individualistic, because you've got to it's the eye of the tiger survivor mentality. You've got to maintain that position. So you do not care about reality. That is called brain damage. And then they do not allow me to fix the problem, which is the main thing. Me fixing the problem would be building bank walls, like I said, 500 times. There's so many ways that it could be done, whether it be on a Caribbean island like St. Bart's, which was a lesson. No, what did we get? A magic surfboard and skateboard, Michael J. Fox hoverboard from Back to the Future, and they are going to be shaken. It's coming, Parkinson's syndrome. I mean, look at society. Look at the difference from 10 to 20 years, the change. It's going to get exponentially worse. The anarchy revolution is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And they are going to kill Europe. And as soon as Europe is dead, the world is dead. But these USA sacred, they're going to jump ship. They've got Alaska in their back door so they can keep on partying, you know. I mean, how fucking crazy are these idiots? You know, they're going to invade. We're at war with Canada, like South Park predicted. USA war with Canada. It's smart bioterrorism. The Keystone Pipeline and all this oil from Canada. That's why they worship this ranked system. That's what they did with Louisiana. They're going to use. So basically, they've got to turn Canada away from the United Kingdom into their anarchy revolution allies because they are dope-head gamblers that refuse to pay their bills. Simple as that. That's all it is. They are dope-head gamblers who worship these mighty machines who refuse to pay their bills. They think that Neiman Marcus is manifest destiny freedom. And Dom Perignon, freedom. That's freedom to them. All the luxury goods that they can produce. That's freedom. Independent freedom. Yeah. Cash Money Brothers. Independent freedom.